talking about the movie called Dragon Soldiers. Now, this one is directed by Hank Braxton. So, this is pure B-movie hokum, but it's fun B-movie hokum. So, what's the story? Well, we have this small American town that seems to have a rash of people going missing, particularly those who go into the forest. There has also been a large number of quote-unquote vagrants that have gone into the forest because the towns sort of tried to get rid of the homeless population, and then it's basically they're blamed for these kind of disappearances and what's going on. Almost like they've created some type of community out there. Now, the town mayor basically contracts a group of mercenaries and private military contractors to go out and stop these vagrants from, harming anyone, because this is where they believe all these lost souls are going. However, when they're there, they find out, although the vagrants are there and they are armed, the real problem is a huge dragon that seems to have come out of the earth for some reason. A little bit like Reign of Fire, I suppose, if you've ever seen that movie. And this dragon is mean and has a taste of human flesh and actually has a dragon power that you have yet to see, I believe, on the big screen. Some new fangled power that will come into play within this movie. I'm not going to spoil that for you, however. So it's up to our small team of mercenaries and a couple of waifs and strays that they find along the way to maybe defeat this beast. What will happen? You'll have to watch the movie to find out. So let's discuss what works, first of all, with Dragon Soldiers. Now, there have been many low-budget, straight-to-TV, like sci-fi movie channels, dragon-related movies, and they're mostly kind of like the sword and sorcery ones. There have been a couple of contemporary dragon movies. Obviously, we've had the aforementioned Reign of Fire, which was a large-budget movie. But we've also had things like Orc Wars, which had a dragon and stuff in there. But for the most part, fantasy movies that involve dragons that are kind of lower budget ones, straight to DVD or straight to TV, obviously tend to be kind of quite shoddy looking CGI. But I'm pleased to say that the CGI of this dragon, for at least a kind of a lower budget movie, is pretty impressive. I have to say, I've watched a lot of B-movies. If you're a fan of this channel, you know that to be true, including many dragon low-budget films. And this one, I've got to say, I think this is some of the best I've seen, certainly for that kind of level of budget, at least. It helps that this one is obviously a newer one, so technology's improved and the costs come down, I suppose, as we kind of go through time. But nonetheless, the end result, I think, and aside from when there's a few instances where you see the dragon run, which is about the only part where I think the dragon looks pretty bad, but for the most part, I've got to say, I think the dragon effects here are done to a very good standard. There are some instances here where we see the dragon kind of, interact with things like that are in the real world, for example. Things like the trees moving, shadows, picking up things, stuff like that. And, it's done. Again, you have to kind of put the brackets that it is a lower budget movie, but for that kind of budget movie, I've got to say I was actually pretty impressed with the effects here. Now, this movie plays a lot like Predator meets Middle-earth, is the best way I would describe it. So when you watch this movie, and they actually even reference the movie Predator, which I found was quite amusing, but it really does go into that. We have a few more than The Last Man Standing, but, we have these military chaps, obviously, trying to take down this, obviously, a much larger beast than a Predator. But even the Predator has got the same sort of like the heat vision sort of thing that the Predator has. And, and they kind of go all native at the end, again, like Predator. So it's very much like that. The action, I've got to say, for a low budget movie, again, pretty well shot. We do have firefights with some human kind of antagonists, shall we say. And although it's relatively well staged, you do see a few headshots and things like that. The kind of the antagonists that we have seem to be as effective as stormtroopers. Now, story-wise, there may be a kind of an argument for that. I don't want to spoil it for you, but nevertheless, they just seem like cannon fodder and a way to kind of expand the running time, really. But nonetheless, the acting you know, it's a little bit of a kind of a mixed bag. I think for this level of movie, it's absolutely fine. Our main protagonist, if you like, this brutish guy called Green, I have to say makes quite a good leading man, quite a good lower budget action hero. And I hope to see more of him because I think he'd he'd make it. We didn't have many of them these days, and it's kind of maybe it'll be nice to kind of see more of him in other stuff. I have to say, out of everyone, I think he was one of the better actors as well. But some of the other characters and everything aren't so bad, aren't particularly great actors, unfortunately. So it's a little bit of a mixed bag in regards to acting. Yes, the dialogue is super cheesy, but it's not trying to be anything too highbrow here. And the story is straightforward, which is both a good and a bad thing. I mean, it doesn't try to do anything really too imaginative, but it's an easy story to follow. So it's kind of just something you can kind of put on and watch, and you won't feel like you could have missed anything and all of that. And it's quite a lot of fun. What can I tell you? Dragons versus soldiers. I thought it was kind of fun, I gotta say. I quite like the movie Orc Wars, which is the nearest to this movie that I can really say. It's kind of similar to that, had a little bit more plot in it maybe, but nonetheless, I think it's a comparable film. What doesn't work? I mean, it's just super silly. I mean, the thought that there's this huge dragon flying around, but no one sees it. No one kind of in the town has seen this thing. And even when we are having our soldiers, their initial kind of contacts with it somehow managed to stay hidden. It doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, this whole movie is just pure B-movie hokum. So don't be expecting to think, why is this dragon sneaking around and this trained soldier cannot seem to see this huge beast? Again, it doesn't make sense. There are other things as well. There's no attempt to radio for help, things like this. Why would the town mayor hire mercenaries rather than just getting like park rangers or police or something if they legitimately thought there was just a group of homeless people causing trouble? It doesn't make sense. And that's the thing, this movie doesn't make sense. And, you just got to accept that that's going to be the reality of this film, unfortunately. So, and as I mentioned, some of the there are some weaker moments in regards to acting. There was a little bit of wonky CGI with the kind of the dragon runs and stuff like that. And, some of our characters are a little undeveloped. But, I think that's to be expected to a certain degree. I'm not trying to make excuses for this movie. But I think if you're wanting just some entertainment, I mean, I've had a look at some of the reviews in IMDb, and it's got like 2.8. It's far more entertaining than that would suggest, I would say. I've seen plenty of straight-to-DVD kind of CGI monster fare, and this is a considerably better than a lot of them, I would suggest. It's by no means a great film, and like I said, it doesn't make a lick of sense when you apply any logic to it. So if you can go into that with your brain turned off sort of thing, you'll have a little bit of fun with it, I think. So I'm going to give this one a 6 out of 10. I thought it was fun. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Leave me a comment and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.